Adolf Hitler was an extreme right-wing political dictator or leader, commonly called a fascist. He ruled Germany from 1933 under the Nazi National Socialism Party and started World War II by invading Poland in 1939. Under his leadership, Nazi Germany began a conquest of Europe, invading Western Europe and capturing France, Poland, and many other countries. While fighting World War II, Hitler was creating a master race of blonde-haired and blue-eyed Germans, known as Aryans, by killing anyone who did not have blonde hair and blue eyes or people who did not agree with him. He believed that Germans were born to rule over other peoples and that there was no place for Jewish people in society. This is unfamously known today as Holocaust, which resulted in the death of 12 million people, 6 million of which were Jews. Hitler was the fourth child of Alois Schicklgruber and Clara Hitler of Austria. Young Adolf was showered with love and affection by his mother, but there is a rumor that Adolf's father regularly beat him during his childhood. Adolf's father died when Adolf was 14 years old. When he was 24 years old, 1913, living in München at the outbreak of World War I, he joined the Bavarian army. During the war, he was gassed and wounded. He was a corporal, which is a leader in the army, and he received the Iron Cross for bravery. The war hardened his extreme nationalism, and he blamed the German defeat on betrayal by Jews and Marxists. Upon his return to Munich, he joined a handful of other nationalistic veterans in the German Workers' Party, which then became the Nazi Party. The Nazi Party Hitler belonged to tried to overthrow the German government, which made Hitler known throughout Germany. This resulted in Hitler going to prison. In prison, he dictated to his friend Rudolf Hess a boring and difficult to understand book which he called Mein Kampf, which means My Struggle. His book was filled with anti-Semitic outpouring, which means discrimination against Jewish people and strategy for world domination. It became the Bible of the Nazis. Another one of Hitler's concerns was the rise of communism in Russia with the revolution in 1917. Hitler criticized communism in his book and in his speeches and wanted to stop communists taking control in Germany.
Etwas Wunderbares, die Volksgemeinschaft so aufzufassen, nicht in einer Vereinsrede vom Volk der Brüder zu sprechen, sondern hineinzugehen in das Volk, seine Vorurteile allmählich zu überwinden, um dann zu helfen und immer wieder zu helfen. Wenn dieses Volk und dieses Deutschland je zugrunde ginge, was würde dann der einzelne Mensch sein? Was würde er dann auf dieser Welt noch zu bedeuten haben? Diesem Volke, da stehen wir mit diesem Volk, leben wir, mit ihm sind wir verbunden auf Gedeih und auf Verderb. Dieses Volk zu erhalten ist unsere heiligste und höchste Aufgabe. So beginnen wir das neue Winterhilfswerk.
Hitler's speaking skills were his greatest talent, and he learned speeches perfectly. By playing on people's fear of Jewish or communists takeover, he managed to work the audience into a frenzy. German people were desperate and unhappy, and so many people became willing to follow his racist and anti-Semitic views. Hitler was a person who liked having power over other people and wanted more of it. Hitler's three main speech topics were how to take over the world, that people should follow his lead, and that everyone should join the German army. He worked his audience into a frenzy by being very loud and clear. Hitler used hand gestures to work his audience into a frenzy. Hitler was well known for his charisma, particularly in rallying crowds of Germany. Hitler used his voice to attract a huge crowd and used the crowds to attract more people into his party. Hitler's tone, pitch and volume varied throughout the speech, making his speech interesting. One of Hitler's speaking skills was persisting. Hitler showed this by saying things over and over again in his speeches to enforce it. Hitler showed clarity and precision by speaking so loudly and clearly when he made a speech. I think that Hitler was a very evil man. Hitler used his powerful voice in speeches to get people to do what he wants. I think Hitler hated Jewish people so much because in his mind he blamed them on World War I defeat and also on getting him in prison. I think Hitler's childhood affected his personality because Hitler's dad beat him often, which made him violent. Because of Hitler, 60 million people were killed in World War II, which is 20 times New Zealand, so every person in New Zealand killed 20 times.